Josh Feldman here at the 2017 Innovations in Recovery down in Coronado, San Diego. I'm here with Mr. Andrew Spanswick, CEO and founder of BHCFinancial. Andrew, tell us, what is BHCFinancial?
Hey Josh, BHCFinancial is behavioral healthcare financial. We deal with factoring of receivables, which is a very complex way of saying that basically if people have receivables from AR, the accounts receivable that they haven't been able to collect on, we'll buy them from them and give them cash so that they can actually operate off of current cash flows.
What will that allow treatment centers to do? What's the end result?
Well, as people have moved from cash pay to insurance, there's become a gap within the collectible range of the cash. So when cash patients would pay up front, it was easy to manage a business on an accrual basis. So your cash in actually matched your expenses at the time that you treated people. But now as insurance companies have come in and we've moved over to an insurance market, we have a situation where you can go out 180 days before you receive the money. And sometimes for a small facility or even a large facility, sometimes it's hard for them to keep track of having enough cash flow to support their expenses. So what we do is we accelerate those receivables by buying them, and then we bill them over time, but the cash flow comes in quicker for the company. So it's a way for them in the short term to create a financing solution to their cash flow problem without having to go into debt or to sell equity.
Refuge recovery, there's a couple ways to look at it. There's a refuge recovery nonprofit, which is a movement which uses Buddhism as a core component for addiction recovery. Things like mindfulness. So we would say refuge recovery is a mindfulness-based program for people who are struggling with addiction on any level, whether it's food, sex, money, substances, all of those things. And we also have a professional treatment center in Los Angeles for people who need that level of care. But essentially, refuge recovery was designed by Noah Levine, and it uses Buddhist philosophy and Buddhist psychology as the framework. So mindfulness-based in the sense that it's about meditation, it's about cultivating awareness, it's about actually coming into contact with the inner life and trying to understand what are some of the conditions, what are some of the patterns, what are some of the things that led to addiction in the first place, and then changing behaviors and understanding some of the core components that are driving those behaviors. So it's pretty complex, but of course mindfulness is sort of the doorway into these types of really ancient practices. So.
What do you think separates you guys from the competition on what you offer for that level of care?
Definitely. Well, what we try to offer is we're pretty relaxed. We give our clients their phones, passes. We help set them up with looking for jobs. We set them up for failures that will teach them to succeed. So when you're in treatment, it's easy to stay sober within those four walls, but we try to help them face real life scenarios in a healthy environment so that if they do fall down, they know how to pick themselves up, and we give them the tools to succeed outside the walls of just treatment.
A lot of people working very hard for a long time. First, Foundations Recovery Network has a network of treatment centers across the United States, and we started doing conferences about 15 years ago just to sort of work in outreach and get the word out and get really the entire industry talking to each other, because that sort of communication is good for everybody. Then we've been slowly adding conferences year over year. Started with Moments of Change, our conference at the Breakers in West Palm. Then we came out here to the West Coast at the fabulous Del Coronado for Innovations in Recovery. We've since added 2 more. But to get something like this, to get thousands of attendees and hundreds of sponsoring entities together, takes an entire team of conferences, plus the marketing wing behind us, and then Foundations as a whole really supports us in all of this. But it couldn't be done without our wonderful sponsors, BHCFinancial, Klean Media. I'm a company man. I'm always up for plugging the guys who help us get it done.